with your boss today. You already work nights for him.
The morning after the work party, I'm at the job site, hands deep in mulch that smells like rotting dreams, when my coworker Jeff grins like he's won the lottery. Bro, you missed one hell of a show last night. I keep spreading the mulch around Mrs. Henderson's prize roses, pretending I give a damn about her suburban paradise. Yeah? What kind of show? Jeff pulls out his phone, that stupid grin getting wider. Your wife really knows how to work a crowd. The video loads and my world cracks down the middle like cheap concrete. There's Erin, my wife of 12 years, half drunk at the CEO's pool party, on her knees beside the diving board, her hands wrapped around Brent Morrison's pecker while a crowd of her work friends cheers like it's the goddamn Super Bowl. Holy crap, I say, my voice steady as a rock even though my insides are screaming. Glad she finally learned to multitask. Jeff laughs, but I'm not joking anymore. I'm burning from the inside out, watching my wife service her boss like some kind of party trick while people I've never met film it on their phones. The worst part? She looks happy. Happier than I've seen her in years. How many people have this video? I ask, still spreading mulch like nothing happened. Dude, it's everywhere. Someone posted it on the company group chat at like 2 a.m. I nod, wiping my hands on my jeans. Erin works as executive assistant to Brent Morrison, CEO of Morrison Development. She's been working late a lot lately, coming home with new purses and that satisfied look women get when they think they're getting away with something. You okay, man? Jeff asks, suddenly realizing this might not be funny anymore. Never better, I lie. Hand me that rake. The rest of the morning crawls by like a dying animal. I run my landscaping business, Root Cutters, with a crew of 3 guys who've known me since high school. We're not getting rich, but we're honest work. Or at least I thought we were the honest ones. By lunch, my phone's buzzing like a hornet's nest. Text after text from numbers I don't recognize, all asking the same thing. Dude, is this your wife? I drive home to our little ranch house in Millfield, a faded working-class town that pretends it's not dying. The neighbors peek through their curtains as I pull into the driveway. Mrs. Gibbons from next door is practically pressed against her window, probably updating her Facebook about the neighborhood scandal. Erin's car isn't in the driveway. She's probably still at Morrison's office doing damage control. Or doing Morrison. Hard to tell that difference these days. Inside, the house feels different. Smaller. The family photos on the mantel look like evidence of a crime I didn't know I'd committed. Dylan's 12, Chloe's 8. They're at school, thank God. They don't need to see their old man fall apart over their mother's public performance. I grab a beer from the fridge and sit at the kitchen table, staring at my phone. The video has 43 views now. 43 people have watched my wife cheat on me in high definition. The front door slams at 6:30. Erin walks in wearing a black dress I've never seen before. Her makeup perfect, despite what should have been the worst day of her professional life. We need to talk, she says, not even looking at me. No crap, I reply, finishing my 3rd beer. Nice dress. New? She stops, her hand frozen on her purse strap. You saw it. Hard to miss. Jeff made sure of that. Erin sits across from me, crossing her legs like she's in a business meeting. It's not what it looks like. I laugh so hard I almost choke on my beer. Really? Because it looks like your excite with hands your boss at a pool party while half the company films it. It was a mistake. I was drunk and what? Your hand accidentally found its way onto his pecker? Her face hardens. Don't be crude, Tom. Crude? Lady, you gave a hand at a work party. I think we're past worrying about crude. She stands up, smoothing her dress. I'm staying at my sister's tonight. We'll figure this out when you're ready to be mature about it. Mature? I stand too, my chair scraping against the linoleum. You want mature? Here's mature. Get the hell out of my house. It's our house, Tom, and those are our children. Our children who are going to see that video eventually, thanks to you. For the first time, she looks scared. Good. The kids don't have to know, she whispers. Honey, the internet is forever. But don't worry. I'll explain to Dylan and Chloe that Mommy was just helping her boss with a work project. She grabs her purse and heads for the door. I'll be back tomorrow to get some things. Take your time. Maybe Morrison's got a spare bedroom. The door slams hard enough to rattle the windows. Mrs. Gibbons is definitely getting an eyeful tonight. I sit back down, opening another beer. The house feels bigger now, like it's expanding to fill the space where my marriage used to be. My phone buzzes again. Another text from another number. Sorry, man. Saw the video. That's rough. 47 views now. I finish my beer and grab my keys. Time to pay Morrison a visit. Morrison lives in Ridgemont, where the houses have 3-car garages and the lawns look like golf courses. His place is a modern monstrosity, with too much glass and not enough soul, sitting on 2 acres of professionally maintained paradise. I park across the street and watch the house for 20 minutes. No movement except the automatic sprinklers watering grass that's already perfect. Morrison's Porsche sits in the circular driveway like a silver middle finger pointed at guys like me. The security system is probably top-notch, but I'm not planning a break-in. I'm planning something better. I walk up the driveway like I belong there, my work boots crunching on imported gravel. The Porsche is unlocked. Rich people never expect consequences. I pull out my keys and drag them along the driver's side, spelling out "Homewrecker" in letters deep enough to need bodywork. Next, I walk around back to the pool area, the scene of the crime. There's Morrison's Rolex sitting on a patio table, probably forgotten in last night's excitement. I pick it up. Heavy, expensive, the kind of watch that costs more than I make in 6 months, and throw it into the deep end with a satisfying splash. The whole thing takes less than 5 minutes. I'm back in my truck and driving away when I notice the camera mounted on the neighbor's fence, pointed right at Morrison's driveway. Crap. But maybe that's not such a bad thing. Let them see. Let Morrison know that Tom Briggs isn't the kind of man who takes humiliation lying down. I'm halfway home when my phone rings. Erin. "What the hell did you do?" she screams before I can say hello. "Evening to you too, sweetheart." "Brent's car, Tom. What did you do to his car?" "I have no idea what you're talking about. I've been home all evening, drinking beer and watching our marriage circle the drain." "The neighbor has you on camera. Then I guess Morrison will have to decide if he wants to call the cops and explain why his employee's husband might be upset with him." Silence on the other end. I can practically hear her brain working. "Tom, please, this doesn't have to get ugly." "Ugly? Honey, we passed ugly the moment you put your hands on another man's pecker. It was a mistake." "No, a mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. What you did was a choice, and now I'm making choices too." I hang up and turn off my phone. Let her stew in that for a while. Back home, I crack another beer and sit on my front porch, watching the neighbors pretend they're not watching me. Mrs. Gibbons waves from her window. I raise my beer in a mock toast. Tomorrow, the real fun begins. The next morning, I'm replacing a busted sprinkler head at the Morrison Development headquarters when Erin walks out of the building with her sister Heather. They're deep in conversation, Erin gesturing wildly while Heather listens with that patient expression she gets when dealing with family drama. Heather's always been the smart one, 5 years younger than Erin, but twice as grounded. She teaches 3rd grade and drives a Honda Civic that's older than some of her students. Where Erin's always reaching for something shinier, Heather seems content with what she has. "Tom," Heather calls out, leaving Erin by the entrance. "How are you holding up?" "Living the dream," I say, not looking up from the sprinkler. "Just trying to keep the grass green and the bills paid. I heard about things, I'm sorry." I glance at Erin, who's pretending to check her phone while obviously listening. "Nothing to be sorry about. Your sister made her choice. Now we all get to live with it." Heather crouches down beside me, her voice dropping. "She's scared, Tom. Really scared." "Good, she should be. The kids are asking questions. Dylan saw something online." That stops me cold. I look up at Heather, seeing the concern in her brown eyes. "What kind of questions?" "About why Mommy's staying at Aunt Heather's house. About why kids at school are whispering." I stand up, wiping my hands on my work shirt. "And what did you tell them? That sometimes grown-ups need space to figure things out? That's diplomatic." Heather stands too, brushing dirt off her knees. "Tom, I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But the kids have a mother who decided her career was more important than her family. That's not my fault." Erin finally approaches, her heels clicking on the concrete. "Tom, we need to talk." "No, we don't." "Yes, we do. About the children, about custody, about how you're living in Morrison's guest house now." Her face goes pale. "How did you—" "Small town, big mouths. Plus, Morrison's been driving you to work all week. Hard to miss that Porsche, even with the new paint job." Erin glances at Heather, then back at me. "It's temporary, until we figure things out." "Oh, it's temporary, all right. Morrison's wife filed for divorce yesterday. Turns out she doesn't appreciate her husband's employee benefits package. Both women stare at me. Heather looks shocked. Erin looks terrified. How do you know about Linda Morrison's divorce filing? Erin asks. I tap my temple. I know people. Small-town landscaper meets a lot of folks, including Linda Morrison's divorce attorney, whose lawn I've been cutting for 3 years. Tom, Heather says carefully, what are you planning? I pick up my tools and head for my truck. I'm planning to finish this job and go home to my empty house. What happens after that depends on how reasonable people want to be. As I drive away, I see Erin grab Heather's arm, probably begging for advice on how to handle her suddenly unpredictable husband. Good luck with that, ladies. That evening, I'm having dinner at Murphy's Tavern when Ray Kowalski slides into the booth across from me. Ray owns the boxing gym downtown, where I've been working out since high school. He's 65, built like a fire hydrant, and has the kind of wisdom that comes from taking punches for 40 years. Heard you've been having some domestic troubles, Ray says, signaling the waitress for coffee. News travels fast. Video travels faster. Saw it this morning. That's rough, Tom. I push my meatloaf around my plate. Yeah, well, life's rough. What are you going to do about it? What can I do? She made her choice. Ray leans forward, his voice dropping. Tom, I've known you since you were 16. You're not the kind of man who takes a beating lying down. What's that supposed to mean? It means you've got options. Legal options, social options, physical options. Physical, Ray grins, showing teeth that have seen better decades. Not what you're thinking. I mean getting in shape, getting strong, getting confident. A man who's been humiliated needs to remember who he is. He's right. I've been feeling sorry for myself when I should be getting even. Not violently. I'm not stupid. But there are other ways to make people pay for their choices. You still got that heavy bag in the back room? I ask. Always. You remember how to throw a punch? Like riding a bike. Ray stands up, throwing a 5 on the table. Come by tomorrow night. Time to remind you what you're made of. After he leaves, I sit in the booth for another hour, planning. Morrison thinks he's won because he's got my wife and his fancy house and his expensive car. But he doesn't know me. He doesn't know what a working man can do when he's got nothing left to lose. My phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. Your wife's a hoe, but at least she's good at it. 53 views now. I finish my beer and head home, already looking forward to tomorrow night's workout. Ray's right. Time to remember what I'm made of. The boxing gym smells like sweat, leather, and broken dreams. Ray leads me to the back room where the heavy bag hangs like a leather-wrapped invitation to violence. Remember the basics, Ray says, wrapping my hands with practiced efficiency. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut, but more important, remember the rules. What rules? Rule 1, never fight angry. Angry fighters make mistakes. Rule 2, always have an exit strategy. Rule 3, the best fight is the one your opponent doesn't see coming. I throw my first punch in 2 years. It feels good, too good. Your wife still at Morrison's place? Ray asks, holding the bag steady. Far as I know. Kids too now. Erin picked them up from school yesterday. That's abduction. That's custody dispute. No judge is going to side with the husband when there's a video of the wife performing. Ray nods thoughtfully. What about Morrison? What's his weakness? I throw a combination. Jab, cross, hook. His ego. Guy thinks he's untouchable because he's got money. Rich men fall harder than poor men. They've got further to drop. We work for an hour, my muscles remembering rhythms they'd forgotten. By the end, I'm soaked in sweat, but feeling more like myself than I have in weeks. You're in better shape than I expected, Ray says, unwrapping my hands. But you need to be smart about this. What's your plan? Working on it? Need help? I look at Ray, this 65-year-old former boxer who's offering to help me destroy my wife's lover. Why would you do that? Because I've been married 42 years to the same woman, and if some rich a-hole tried to steal her away with fancy dinners and expensive gifts, I'd want someone in my corner. Morrison didn't steal her. She went willingly. Doesn't matter. Point is, you're fighting above your weight class. You need an equalizer. Ray walks to his office and returns with a business card. Sergeant Mike Larkin, Millfield PD. He owes me a favor from way back. Sometimes the law can be flexible when it comes to domestic disputes. I pocket the card. What kind of flexible? The kind where if Morrison calls to complain about vandalism or maltreatment, Sergeant Larkin might be too busy with other cases to respond quickly. That's corruption. That's life. You want to play fair with a man who's screwing your wife in front of your children? Put that way, it sounds reasonable. The next morning, I'm installing a new irrigation system at the Hendersons when Mrs. Gibbons appears at the fence line. "Tom, honey, can I talk to you for a minute?" I walk over, wiping my hands on my jeans. Mrs. Gibbons is 73, widowed, and the unofficial neighborhood intelligence network. "I saw that video," she says without preamble. "Yeah, I figured. That wife of yours always thought she was better than the rest of us, walking around with her nose in the air talking about her important job and her important boss." "Mrs. Gibbons." "I'm not finished. I also saw you at Morrison's house the other night. Saw you key his car." My stomach drops. "Mrs. Gibbons," she holds up a hand. "I saw you key his car and I thought to myself, good for Tom. About time someone stood up to that fool." "You're not going to report it." "Report what? I didn't see anything. These old eyes aren't what they used to be." She winks and shuffles back to her house, leaving me staring after her. Apparently, I've got more allies than I thought. That afternoon, I drive to the police station and ask for Sergeant Larkin. He's a thick-set man in his 50s with the kind of mustache that went out of style in the 80s. "Ray Kowalski sent me," I say. Larkin's expression changes. "Ray's a good man. What can I do for you?" I explain the situation, the video, the affair, Morrison, the custody issue. Larkin listens without interruption, occasionally nodding. "Domestic disputes are tricky," he says finally. "Lot of he said, she said. Sometimes complaints get lost in the paperwork. Sometimes response times are slower than usual." "What would that cost?" "Ray says you do good work. My backyard needs landscaping. Let's call it a trade." We shake hands. I've just bought myself insurance. Walking back to my truck, I feel something I haven't felt in weeks. Hope. Not hope for reconciliation. That ship sailed the moment Erin put her hand on Morrison's pecker. Hope for justice, hope for revenge. My phone buzzes. Text from Heather. "Can we talk? It's important." I text back. "Murphy's Tavern, 7 p.m. Time to see what the smart sister has to say. Heather's already at Murphy's when I arrive, nursing a glass of wine and looking worried. She's changed out of her teaching clothes into jeans and a sweater that makes her look younger than her 32 years. "Thanks for coming," she says as I slide into the booth. "What's so important?" She takes a sip of wine, gathering courage. "Erin's pregnant." The words hit me like a punch to the solar plexus. "What?" "She told me yesterday. She's scared, Tom. Really scared." I signal the waitress for a beer, my mind racing. "How far along?" "She thinks about 6 weeks." I do the math. 6 weeks ago, Erin and I were still sleeping in the same bed, still pretending our marriage wasn't circling the drain. But we hadn't had sex in over 2 months. "It's not mine," I say flatly. Heather's face confirms what I already know. She knows that. So does Morrison. What does he want to do about it? That's the problem. His wife's divorce filing froze all his assets. He can't afford to support Erin and the kids, let alone a new baby. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. "So my cheating wife is pregnant with another man's child, and now they're both broke. That's what you call poetic justice." "Tom, she wants to come home." "Absolutely not. She says she'll do anything. Sign a post-nuptial agreement, give you full custody of Dylan and Chloe, whatever you want." The waitress brings my beer. I take a long drink, thinking, Erin desperate is Erin dangerous, but Erin desperate is also Erin vulnerable. "What do you think I should do?" I ask Heather. She looks surprised by the question. I think you should do what makes you happy. For the first time in years, do what Tom Briggs wants. What makes me happy is watching Morrison lose everything. What makes me happy is seeing Erin realize that actions have consequences. And after that? After that, we'll see. Heather reaches across the table and touches my hand. "You're not the same man you were a month ago." "No, I'm not. That man was a doormat. That man let his wife walk all over him while she climbed the corporate ladder on her back. This new man scares me a little." I look at Heather. Really look at her. She's got Erin's bone structure, but none of Erin's calculating coldness. Her eyes are warm, concerned, honest. "Do I scare you enough to stop having dinner with me?" She smiles for the first time all evening. "No. Actually, I think I like this version of you better." We order food and talk for 2 hours. About teaching, about landscaping, about anything except my disintegrating marriage. For the first time in months, I feel like I'm talking to someone who actually listens. "I should go," Heather says finally. "Early day tomorrow. I'll walk you to your car." Outside, the October air is crisp and full of dying leaves. Heather's Honda is parked under a streetlight, looking reliable and unpretentious. Tom, she says, turning to face me. Whatever you're planning, be careful. Morrison's desperate now, and desperate men do stupid things. So do desperate women. She nods, understanding. Erin's not thinking clearly. The pregnancy, the stress, Morrison's financial problems, she's making bad decisions. She's been making bad decisions for months. Heather steps closer, close enough that I can smell her perfume. Something light and floral, nothing like Erin's heavy, expensive scent. What if she tries to use the kids against you? Then she'll find out that I'm not the same pushover she married. Heather looks up at me, her face serious in the streetlight. Promise me something. What? Promise me you won't do anything that can't be undone. I consider this. She's asking me to promise not to cross a line I'm not even sure I can see anymore. I promise I won't do anything stupid, I say finally. She nods, satisfied with the compromise. Good enough? She gets in her car and drives away, leaving me standing in the parking lot with a head full of new possibilities. Heather's right. Erin's going to use Dylan and Chloe as weapons. But what she doesn't know is that I've been preparing for war. My phone buzzes. Text from unknown number. Saw your wife at Morrison's office today, still working hard if you know what I mean. 61 views now. I delete the text and drive home, already planning tomorrow's move. Morrison thinks his money problems are his biggest concern. He's about to learn otherwise. The next morning, I'm at Morrison Development before sunrise, installing what I call landscape improvements around their corporate headquarters. Specifically, I'm installing a sprinkler system that's going to have some very interesting malfunctions. The security guard, Dave, waves at me from inside the lobby. I've been doing their grounds maintenance for 3 years. To him, I'm just Tom the landscaper, getting an early start on his day. If only he knew. By the time Morrison arrives in his freshly repaired Porsche, I'm finishing up the flower beds near the main entrance. He parks in his reserved spot and walks toward the building without acknowledging my existence. Rich men have a talent for looking right through working people. Morning, Mr. Morrison, I call out. He stops, turns, and for the first time really looks at me. Recognition dawns slowly, followed by something that might be fear. You're Erin's husband. Tom Briggs. We've never been formally introduced. He glances around, probably looking for witnesses or security cameras. What are you doing here? My job. Root Cutters has the landscaping contract for this building. Has for 3 years. I think we'll be making some changes to our service providers. I stand up, brushing dirt off my knees. That's your prerogative, but you might want to wait until after the warranty period expires on this new irrigation system. Warranty period? 6 months. If anything goes wrong with the sprinklers before then, I have to come back and fix it for free. Could be expensive if you have to hire someone else to undo my work. Morrison's face reddens. He's starting to understand that this conversation isn't really about landscaping. Are you threatening me? Threatening you? Mr. Morrison, I'm a small business owner trying to provide quality service to my clients. What could I possibly threaten you with? He stares at me for a long moment, then turns and walks into the building. Through the glass doors, I see him talking rapidly to the security guard, pointing in my direction. Too late, buddy. The damage is already done. I finish my work and drive to the elementary school where Heather teaches. She's on playground duty, watching third graders climb monkey bars and negotiate the complex social dynamics of 8-year-old politics. Tom? She looks surprised to see me. What are you doing here? Thought you might want to grab lunch, my treat. She glances at her watch. I've got 20 minutes left on duty, then lunch break. I'll wait. We sit on a bench while she keeps an eye on the playground. The normalcy of it, kids playing, teachers watching, the everyday rhythm of elementary school life, feels surreal after my morning of sabotage. You seem different today, Heather says. More energetic. Good day at work. Tom, what did you do? I look at her, this woman who's becoming more important to me than she should be. What makes you think I did anything? Because I know that look. Erin gets the same expression when she's been plotting something. I'm nothing like your sister. No, you're not. But you're both smart, and you both hold grudges. The bell rings, ending recess. Heather stands and blows her whistle, calling her class to line up. Lunch? I ask. Give me 5 minutes to get them settled. We go to a sandwich shop near the school, sitting in a corner booth where we can talk privately. Erin called me this morning, Heather says after we order. She's panicking. About what? Morrison's talking about ending things. His lawyer says the affair could hurt him in the divorce proceedings. He's trying to distance himself from her. I take a bite of my sandwich, considering this. So she's pregnant, unemployed, and about to be homeless. Basically, yes. And she wants to come home to her safety net. Tom, she's my sister. I love her. But what she did to you was unforgivable. But she's still the mother of your children. And she's scared. I lean back in my chair, studying Heather's face. What do you think I should do? I think you should do whatever helps you sleep at night. What if what helps me sleep at night is making sure Morrison pays for what he's done? Then make sure you don't become something you'll regret. After lunch, I drive back to Morrison Development to check on my morning's work. The building's surrounded by fire trucks and emergency vehicles. Water is shooting from every sprinkler head on the property, flooding the parking lot and pouring through the front entrance. I park across the street and watch the chaos. Morrison stands in the parking lot in a soaked suit, screaming at the fire chief while employees evacuate the building with their computers and files held above their heads. My phone rings. Dave, the security guard. Tom, thank God, we've got a major malfunction with the sprinkler system. Can you get out here? I'm actually driving by right now. Looks like you've got a problem. Can you fix it? I can try, but it might take a while. These electronic systems are tricky. I hang up and drive to the building, parking behind the fire trucks. Morrison sees me approaching and storms over, water dripping from his hair. You did this, he shouts. Did what? Dave called me about a sprinkler malfunction. I came as soon as I could. This is sabotage. The fire chief, a guy named Rodriguez I went to high school with, walks over. You the landscaper? Tom Briggs, root cutters. I installed this system last month. Can you shut it off? I can try. Looks like a major electrical fault. Might have to replace the whole control system. Rodriguez nods and turns to Morrison. Sir, I need you to step back and let the professional work. Morrison's face goes purple, but he backs away. I spend the next 2 hours trying to fix the system, occasionally shaking my head and muttering about complex electronic failures. Finally, I manage to shut off the water. What's the damage? Rodriguez asks. Control system's fried, probably a power surge. I can have a new one installed by Friday, but it's going to be expensive. How expensive? Morrison demands. 15,000, maybe 20. These commercial systems aren't cheap. Morrison looks like he's about to have a stroke. $20,000? Could be less if we get lucky with the parts. But you'll want to get your insurance adjuster out here first. This kind of electrical failure is usually covered. As I pack up my tools, I hear Morrison on his phone with his insurance company, his voice getting higher and more desperate with each call transfer. Driving home, I allow myself a smile. The sprinkler malfunction will cost Morrison's company at least $50,000 in water damage, plus the cost of repairs. His insurance might cover it, but the deductible alone will hurt. And this is just the beginning. My phone buzzes. Text from Heather. Saw the news about Morrison Development. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? I text back. Terrible thing, these electrical failures. Very unpredictable. Her response comes immediately. Be careful, Tom. But careful is the last thing I plan to be. 3 days later, I'm at Dylan's soccer game when I see them. Aaron and Morrison sitting in lawn chairs on the opposite sideline like they're a real family. Morrison's wearing khakis and a polo shirt, playing the part of supportive stepfather while my son runs up and down the field. The rage hits me like a physical force. This fool is sitting at my kid's soccer game, pretending to be something he's not, while half the parents here have probably seen the video of him and my wife. I walk around the field, my hands clenched into fists. Other parents nod at me, some sympathetic, others curious, a few clearly uncomfortable. The whole town knows what happened. I'm the betrayed, the guy whose wife gave a public performance for her boss. Tom, Morrison says as I approach. He stands up, trying to look confident, but I can see the nervousness in his eyes. Morrison, I don't sit down. Enjoying the game? Dylan's a good player. He's my son. Of course, I just meant, I know what you meant. Erin hasn't looked at me yet. She's staring at the field, pretending to watch the game while tension radiates off her like heat. We should talk, Morrison says. The three of us, work something out. Work what out? Custody, visitation, the house. We're all adults here. I laugh, loud enough that other parents turn to look. Adults? You screwed my wife at a work party while people filmed it. That's not adult behavior, Morrison. That's what animals do. Tom, please, Erin says quietly. Not here. Not here? Where then? Your new boyfriend's place? Oh, wait, you can't afford that anymore, can you? Not since his wife froze all his assets. Morrison's face reddens. That's temporary. The divorce will be finalized soon. And you'll get what? Half of nothing? Your company's hemorrhaging money, your wife's taking you to the cleaners, and you're supporting a pregnant woman who isn't even your wife. She's going to be my wife. This stops me cold. I look at Erin, who's still staring at the field. Is that true? You're marrying this clown? Finally, she looks at me. Her eyes are red-rimmed, exhausted. Tom, answer the question. Are you marrying him? We're talking about it. Talking about it. Right. I turn back to Morrison. You know the baby isn't mine, right? Timeline doesn't work, which means it's either yours or someone else's. 50-50 odds. You feeling lucky? Morrison takes a step toward me. You need to back off. Or what? Or I'll call the police. I pull out my phone. Here, let me save you the trouble. I dial Sergeant Larkin's direct number. Mike, it's Tom Briggs. I'm at the soccer field, and Morrison here is threatening me. What's that? You're busy? Might be a while before you can respond? Okay, thanks. I hang up and smile at Morrison. Looks like you'll have to wait. Millfield PD is really backed up today. Morrison's face goes from red to pale. He's starting to understand that his money and position don't carry as much weight as he thought. Tom, Erin says, standing up, can we please just what? Pretend this is normal? Pretend you didn't humiliate me and our children? Pretend your boyfriend isn't a hunter who goes after his employees? It wasn't like that. Really? Because I've been doing some research. Turns out you're not Morrison's first executive assistant to receive special attention. There was Jennifer Walsh 2 years ago, and before her, Susan Martinez. Both got promoted, both got fired when Morrison got bored, both signed non-disclosure agreements. Morrison's face goes completely white. You don't know what you're talking about. I know Jennifer's working at Starbucks now. I know Susan moved back in with her parents. I know you have a pattern, Morrison, and I know patterns eventually get noticed. The soccer game ends. Dylan runs over, sweaty and grinning, holding a participation trophy. Dad, did you see my goal? I saw it, buddy. Great job. Dylan looks at Morrison, then at his mother. Are you coming home, Mom? The question hangs in the air like a live wire. Erin looks at Morrison, then at me, then back at Dylan. We'll talk about it later, honey, but I want you to come home now. Dylan, Morrison says, sometimes grown-ups need... Don't, I say quietly. Don't you dare tell my son anything. Morrison shuts up. I take Dylan's hand. Come on, buddy. Let's get some ice cream. As we walk away, I hear Morrison and Erin arguing in hushed voices. Good. Let them fight. Let them realize that their fairy tale romance is built on a foundation of lies and public humiliation. At the ice cream stand, Dylan asks the question I've been dreading. Dad, why is Mom living with that man? I kneel down so we're eye level. Sometimes adults make mistakes, Dylan. Big mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes hurt the people they love. Did Mom make a mistake? Yes, she did. Is she sorry? I look back at the soccer field where Erin and Morrison are still arguing. I don't know, buddy. I hope so. But hope is a luxury I can't afford anymore. Hope is what got me into this mess in the first place. That night, after I put Dylan and Chloe to bed, Erin dropped them off without coming inside. I sit on my front porch with a beer and plan my next move. Morrison thinks he can intimidate me, threaten me, make me back down. He's about to learn how wrong he is. The Morrison Development Christmas party is held at the Ridgemont Country Club, the kind of place where they charge $50 for a steak and the waiters wear white gloves. I'm not invited, obviously, but that's never stopped me before. I park my truck between 2 BMWs in the visitor lot and walk toward the main entrance. I'm wearing my only suit, the one I got married in 12 years ago, and carrying a leather portfolio that makes me look like I belong here. The party is in the main ballroom, visible through floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook the golf course. I can see Morrison working the room, glad-handing clients and employees while Erin stands beside him in a red dress that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. She's showing now. Not much, but enough that the dress can't completely hide her condition. I wonder how Morrison's explaining that to his business partners. Excuse me, sir? A security guard approaches. Are you a member? Tom Briggs, I say, extending my hand. I'm here about the landscaping contract for the spring renovation. The guard checks his clipboard. I don't see your name on the list. Morrison asked me to stop by during the party. Said it would be easier to show me what he wants while there are people using the space. The guard looks uncertain. I hand him my business card. Root cutters, professional landscaping services. I can call Mr. Morrison if you'd like, I offer. No, that's okay. Main ballroom is through those doors. I thank him and walk into the party. The room is full of people I don't know, drinking champagne and eating appetizers that look like tiny works of art. A jazz trio plays in the corner while couples dance on a small parquet floor. I spot Morrison near the bar, talking to a group of men in expensive suits. Erin is across the room, chatting with other wives and looking uncomfortable. She sees me first, her face going pale above the red dress. I walk over to her, smiling like we're old friends. Erin, you look beautiful. Tom, what are you doing here? Enjoying the party. Nice place, very classy. She glances around nervously. You can't be here. Why not? I'm a local business owner. I network. Tom, please, not tonight. I pick up a champagne flute from a passing waiter and take a sip. How are you feeling? Pregnancy treating you well? Her hand instinctively goes to her stomach. I'm fine. Good. When are you due? June? July? Tom, I've been thinking about the timeline. 6 weeks pregnant when you told Heather. That was 3 weeks ago. So 9 weeks now, which means conception was sometime in early October. Erin's face is getting paler. Stop. October 2nd, to be exact. I remember because that's the night you came home at 2 in the morning, claiming you were working late. But Morrison's credit card records show he paid for a hotel room that night. The Marriott downtown. Nice place? How do you know about his credit cards? I smile. Amazing what people throw away. Amazing what you can learn from a man's garbage. Morrison appears beside us, his face flushed with booze and anger. What the hell are you doing here? Brent! I extend my hand like we're old friends. Great party. Really first class. He doesn't take my hand. Security? Now, no need for that. I'm just here to congratulate you both on your engagement. And the baby, of course. Several people nearby turn to look. Morrison realizes we're attracting attention. Let's take this outside, he says through gritted teeth. Oh, I don't think so. I'm having too much fun. Tell me, Brent, have you told your business partners about your upcoming nuptials? About how you're marrying your pregnant executive assistant? Morrison grabs my arm. Shut up. Careful, Brent. We're in public. People are watching. And they are. A circle is formed around us. Party guests, drawn by the obvious tension. I recognize some faces from the local business community, people who know Morrison, people who matter in this town. Ladies and gentlemen, I announce, raising my champagne glass, I'd like to propose a toast to my soon-to-be ex-wife and her new fiancé. May they find the happiness they deserve. Tom, don't, Erin whispers. To Erin and Brent Morrison, whose relationship became public in such a memorable way. I'm sure you've all seen the video. The crowd shifts uncomfortably. Several people pull out their phones, probably looking up the video right now. Morrison's face is purple. Get out! Now. But I haven't finished my toast. To Brent Morrison, a man who believes in hands-on management. And to my wife, who's always been willing to go the extra mile for her career. Someone in the crowd gasps. Others are whispering, showing each other their phones. The video is making the rounds again, right here in Morrison's moment of triumph. Security! Morrison shouts. But it's too late. The damage is done. Half the room is watching the video. The other half is watching Morrison's meltdown. His reputation, his business relationships, his social standing, all of it cracking like ice in spring. I set down my champagne glass and straighten my tie. Well, this has been lovely, but I should get going. Early day tomorrow. Lots of landscaping to do. I walk toward the exit, leaving Morrison and Erin standing in the wreckage of their public humiliation. As I reach the door, I hear Morrison screaming at the security guards, demanding they arrest me for trespassing. Good luck with that, buddy. Outside, I sit in my truck for a moment, watching through the windows as the party disintegrates. Groups of people huddle around phones, watching the video and talking in animated whispers. Morrison stands in the center of it all, trying to do damage control while Erin has disappeared, probably hiding in the bathroom. My phone buzzes. Text from Heather. What did you do? I text back, went to a party. Her response, Tom, you're scaring me. But I'm not scared anymore. For the first time in months, I feel like myself again. Like the man I used to be before marriage and mortgage payments and the slow erosion of self-respect wore me down to nothing. Morrison wanted a war. Now he's got one. And I'm just getting started. The fallout from the Christmas party is immediate and brutal. By Monday morning, the video has been shared so many times that it's trending on local social media. Morrison Development's stock price drops 12% in 2 days. 3 major clients cancel their contracts, citing concerns about company leadership. I'm installing a new patio at the Henderson house when Mrs. Gibbons appears at the fence with coffee and gossip. Tom, honey, you got the whole town talking. Good things, I hope. Depends on your perspective. Morrison's been calling everyone he knows, trying to do damage control, says you're stalking him. I set down my shovel and accept the coffee. What do you think? I think a man's got a right to defend his family's honor. I think some people need to learn that actions have consequences. Mrs. Gibbons has become my unofficial intelligence network. She knows everything that happens in this town, from who's cheating on their taxes to who's cheating on their spouse. Erin came by yesterday, she continues, looking for you. What did she want? To talk, she said. She looked terrible, Tom, pale, shaky. That pregnancy's not agreeing with her. Where is she staying now? That's the interesting part. Morrison kicked her out. She's back at Heather's place, sleeping on the couch. This stops me cold. Morrison kicked her out? Saturday night, right after the party, neighbors heard them screaming at each other in the driveway. He threw her suitcase out the front door and told her not to come back. I processed this information. Morrison's cutting his losses, abandoning Erin now that she's become a liability. The pregnancy, the scandal, the damage to his reputation, he's decided she's not worth it. What about the kids? Still with Heather. Dylan asked me yesterday if his mommy was sick. The coffee tastes bitter in my mouth. Whatever Erin's done, Dylan and Chloe don't deserve this chaos. They didn't ask for their mother to blow up their family. My phone rings. Heather. Tom, we need to talk. It's about Erin. What about her? She's not doing well. The stress, the pregnancy, everything that's happened. She's talking about leaving town. Leaving? Taking the kids and starting over somewhere else, away from all this. The phone goes quiet except for the sound of my own breathing. Erin running away with my children. That's a line I won't let her cross. Where are you now? I ask. School. But I'm worried, Tom. Really worried. She's not thinking clearly. I'll be there in an hour. I finish the patio installation in record time and drive to Heather's house. It's a small ranch in an older neighborhood, the kind of place where teachers and social workers live when they can't afford Ridgemont but won't settle for the trailer parks. Erin's car is in the driveway. Through the front window, I can see her sitting at Heather's kitchen table, staring at a cup of coffee like it holds the answers to all her problems. Heather meets me at the door. She's been like this for 2 days. Barely eating, barely talking, just sitting there. What about the kids? At school. I didn't want them to see her like this. I walk into the kitchen. Erin looks up when she hears my footsteps. She's lost weight despite the pregnancy, her face gaunt and hollow-eyed. Hello, Tom. Erin. I sit across from her. Heard you're thinking about taking a trip. Maybe. I don't know. I can't think straight anymore. You can't take the kids. They're my children, too. They're also mine. And they've been through enough upheaval. Erin starts crying, not the manipulative tears I'm used to, but genuine sobs that shake her whole body. I don't know what to do. Brent won't return my calls. I lost my job. I'm pregnant and alone, and everyone in town thinks I'm a hoe. You made those choices. I know I did, but I don't know how to fix it. I look at this woman I've been married to for 12 years, this stranger who destroyed our family for a man who abandoned her the moment things got complicated. You can't fix it, Erin. You can only live with it. I can't live here, not with everyone staring, everyone knowing what I did. Then leave. But the kids stay with me. Her head snaps up. I won't abandon my children. You already did. The moment you put your hand on Morrison's pecker, you abandoned them. Heather appears in the doorway. Tom, maybe what? Maybe I should pretend this is all going to work out. Maybe I should let her take Dylan and Chloe away from everything they know because she's embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed, Erin says. I'm destroyed. My life is over. Your old life is over. The life where you could cheat on your husband and face no consequences. But you can build a new life if you want to. How? By being honest, by taking responsibility, by putting your children first for once. Erin wipes her eyes with a napkin. What do you want from me? I want you to sign custody papers giving me primary custody of Dylan and Chloe. I want you to find a job and an apartment and start acting like an adult. I want you to stop running away from what you've done. And if I do that, then maybe eventually we can figure out how to co-parent our children. Maybe they don't have to lose their mother completely. What about the baby? I look at her stomach, where Morrison's child is growing. That's your responsibility, not mine. Erin nods slowly. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, I'll sign the papers, I'll find a job, I'll stop running. I stand up, not entirely sure I believe her, but knowing this is the best deal I'm going to get. Good. Heather has my number. Call me when you're ready to do this right. Outside, Heather follows me to my truck. That was harsh, she says. That was necessary. She's still my sister, Tom, and she's pregnant and scared. She should have thought about that before she decided to give Morrison a hand at a work party. Heather flinches at my bluntness. You're different now. Harder. I'm realistic now. I spent 12 years making excuses for Erin, pretending her ambition and selfishness were just phases she'd grow out of. I'm done pretending. What about us? The question catches me off guard. What about us? This thing between us, this friendship or whatever it is. Does it survive what just happened in there? I look at Heather, this woman who's been my ally and confidant through the worst period of my life. She's nothing like her sister. Honest where Erin is manipulative, grounded where Erin is flighty, loyal where Erin is opportunistic. That depends, I say. On what? On whether you can accept that I'm not the same man I was 3 months ago. The old Tom would have taken Erin back, would have raised Morrison's baby, would have pretended none of this ever happened. And the new Tom? The new Tom doesn't forgive and forget. The new Tom believes in consequences. Heather steps closer. I think I like the new Tom better. She kisses me then, right there in her driveway where anyone can see. It's not a passionate kiss, but it's real. Honest. Everything my marriage wasn't. Call me tonight, she asks. Count on it. I drive home feeling something I haven't felt in months. Hope. Not hope for reconciliation or redemption, but hope for something new. Something better. My phone buzzes as I pull into my driveway. Text from unknown number. Saw you at Heather's place. Moving fast, aren't you? I look around, trying to spot whoever's watching me. The street seems empty, but someone's out there. Someone's paying attention. I text back, "Who is this?" The response comes immediately. "A friend. Morrison's not done with you yet. Be careful." I stare at the phone, trying to process this new development. Morrison's planning something. The question is what and how much time I have to prepare for it. I walk into my empty house and crack open a beer, already planning my next move. Morrison thinks he can intimidate me with anonymous threats and surveillance. He's about to learn that the new Tom Briggs doesn't intimidate easily. Morrison's revenge comes at dawn on a Tuesday morning. I'm drinking coffee and reading the paper when I hear car doors slamming in my driveway. Through the kitchen window, I see 2 police cruisers and an unmarked sedan. My first thought is that someone's called in a domestic disturbance. My second thought is that this is exactly what Morrison's anonymous text warned me about. The doorbell rings. I open it to find Detective Sarah Walsh, no relation to Jennifer, Morrison's former assistant, standing on my porch with a warrant. Tom Briggs? That's me. We have a warrant to search your property in connection with vandalism and maltreatment charges filed by Brent Morrison. I step aside, letting them enter. Help yourselves. The search takes 2 hours. They go through everything, my truck, my tools, my computer, even my landscaping equipment. They're looking for evidence that I've been stalking Morrison, vandalizing his property, threatening his safety. They won't find anything because I've been careful. But Morrison doesn't need them to find evidence. He just needs them to make my life difficult, to send a message that he's still got power in this town. Detective Walsh finds me in the kitchen when they're finished. We're taking your computer and some of your tools for analysis. What am I supposed to work with? That's not my concern. Don't leave town, Mr. Briggs. After they leave, I call Sergeant Larkin. Mike, what the hell was that about? Morrison filed formal charges yesterday. Vandalism, maltreatment, stalking. My hands are tied, Tom. I thought we had an understanding. We do, but this came from downtown, not my precinct. Someone with more juice than Morrison is pushing this. I hang up and call Ray at the boxing gym. They just searched my house. Morrison? Has to be. Question is, what's his end game? Same as always with rich guys. He wants you gone. Out of town, out of his life, away from his problems. Not happening. Then you better be ready for whatever comes next. What comes next is a call from my lawyer, Jim Hendricks, who's handled my business contracts for years. Tom, we need to talk. Morrison's filing for a restraining order. On what grounds? He's claiming you've been stalking him, vandalizing his property, threatening his safety and the safety of your ex-wife. She's not my ex-wife yet. That's another problem. Morrison's also filing papers claiming you're an unfit parent. He wants emergency custody of your children. The phone goes quiet except for the sound of my heart pounding. Morrison's not just trying to destroy me. He's trying to take Dylan and Chloe. Can he do that? He can try, especially if Erin supports his petition. Would she do that? Tom, a desperate woman with a baby on the way, might do anything to secure her future. I hang up and drive straight to Heather's house. Erin's car is gone, but Heather's Honda is in the driveway. Where is she? I ask when Heather opens the door. At a lawyer's office. Tom, what's going on? There were police cars at your house this morning. Morrison's trying to take my kids. Heather's face goes pale. He can't do that. He can if Erin helps him. Is she going to help him? I don't know. She's scared, Tom. Really scared. Morrison's been calling her, making promises. What kind of promises? Marriage, a house, security for her and the baby. In exchange for what? Heather looks away. In exchange for testifying that you're unstable, violent, a danger to the children. The rage that hits me is pure and clean, like white lightning. Morrison's not content with destroying my marriage or my reputation. He wants to take everything. My children, my freedom, my future. Where's this lawyer's office? Tom, don't. Whatever you're thinking, don't do it. I'm thinking that Morrison's made a mistake. He's pushed too far. You can't fight him this way. He's got money, lawyers, connections. He's also got weaknesses. I kiss Heather goodbye and drive to downtown Millfield, where Morrison's lawyer has an office in the renovated historic district. I park across the street and wait. Erin emerges 2 hours later, looking shell-shocked. She gets in her car and drives away without seeing me. 5 minutes later, Morrison comes out, talking on his phone and looking satisfied. I follow him. Morrison drives to his office, parks in his reserved spot, and walks into the Morrison Development building like he owns the world. Which, in this town, he pretty much does. But not for much longer. I park in the visitor lot and walk to the building's main electrical panel, hidden behind landscaping on the side of the structure. It's locked, but I've got tools, and I've been doing electrical work as part of my landscaping business for 15 years. The building's fire suppression system is connected to the main electrical grid. If there's a power surge, the system automatically activates, flooding the building with water and foam to prevent electrical fires. It's a safety feature. Very important for protecting expensive office equipment and irreplaceable documents. I make a few adjustments to the electrical connections, creating an unstable current that will trigger the system in about 30 minutes, just enough time for me to be somewhere else when it happens. Then I drive to the police station and walk into Sergeant Larkin's office. Mike, I need to report a crime. What kind of crime? Bribery, perjury, conspiracy? I pull out a manila envelope and dump its contents on his desk. Bank records, phone logs, emails, photographs. Everything I've been collecting for weeks. Morrison's been paying people to lie about me. He's bribing witnesses, manufacturing evidence, trying to frame me for crimes I didn't commit. Larkin looks through the documents, his expression growing more serious with each page. Where did you get this? Morrison's garbage. Amazing what people throw away. This is federal stuff, Tom. Mail fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy charges. Then maybe you should call the FBI. Larkin picks up his phone just as the fire alarms start going off across town. Through his office window, we can see smoke rising from the Morrison Development building. Jesus, Larkin says. What the hell is happening over there? Electrical fire, probably. Those old buildings, you never know when the wiring might fail. I stand up, leaving the evidence on his desk. Mike, I need you to do something for me. What? When Morrison calls to report this fire, when he starts screaming about sabotage and vandalism, I need you to tell him that I've been here for the last hour, filing a complaint against him. Larkin looks at the evidence, then at the smoke rising from Morrison's building, then back at me. You've been here for an hour, he says finally, filing a very detailed complaint. I shake his hand and walk out of the police station, leaving Morrison's world burning behind me. By the time the fire department gets the suppression system shut off, Morrison Development has suffered over $200,000 in water and smoke damage. Every computer, every file, every document in the building is destroyed, including, presumably, any evidence Morrison might have manufactured against me. My phone rings as I'm driving home. Morrison, screaming so loud I have to hold the phone away from my ear. You did this! You burned down my building! Brent, I've been at the police station for the last hour, filing a complaint against you for bribery and conspiracy. Sergeant Larkin can verify that. You're lying. Actually, I'm not. For once, I'm telling the complete truth. I've been working with the FBI for weeks, documenting your attempts to frame me. They're very interested in your business practices. The line goes quiet. That's right, Brent. While you were playing games, I was building a federal case against you. Wire fraud, mail fraud, conspiracy, bribery. You're looking at serious prison time. You can't prove anything. I can prove everything. Bank records, phone logs, witness statements. You got sloppy, Brent. Rich guys always do. I hang up and drive home, where Heather is waiting on my front porch with Dylan and Chloe. Tom, what did you do? She asks. I won, I say, hugging my children. I finally won. 6 months later, Morrison pleads guilty to federal fraud charges and gets 5 years in minimum security prison. Erin gives birth to a daughter she names Sarah and moves to Ohio to start over. Dylan and Chloe spend summers with her and the rest of the year with me. Heather and I get married on a Saturday in October, exactly 1 year after Erin's public performance destroyed my old life and created space for a better one. At the reception, Ray raises a toast. To Tom Briggs, who learned that sometimes you have to cut the roots to save the tree. I look around the room, at my children, at my new wife, at the friends who stood by me through the worst year of my life, and realize he's right. Sometimes you have to burn everything down to build something better. Sometimes revenge is just another word for justice, and sometimes the best man wins after all.